Hello, everybody.
It's not. So
Let's try that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Post Raw. I am Mike Tedesco.
and I'm Victoria Tedesco.
There we go.
Sorry about that. I'm telling you, it's because I'm blind. Because that last little bit of when I mute it never. I had it fully down, but I guess that tiny bit can cause all that commotion. Sorry, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
Not to fault of our own, but I'm actually happy that we're back tonight with a live crowd. Like, this is what we were kind of waiting for, to really be back in motion with the show. Having, people in the audience and everything. So, did I lighten my hair? Looks good. Yes, Nafis, I did. Thank you for noticing. I came back a brand new person.
That's right. Well, we're finally out of the goddamn Thunderdome. Oh my God, not a moment too soon. I if I had to watch one more of those shows, I was gonna go crazy. It's really great to have fans back and hear reactions again, even though they did. I'll switch it over there. Even though they piped in some cheers and chants for Goldberg, it was just really great just to have like genuine reactions again.
It was great.
The crowd, obviously, it's not. I think we were hoping that WWE was just lying pat, right? And that they would we're just waiting for the crowds to come back. Well, the crowds are back. They did give them a lot of stuff. They hot shot a lot of things. We got Keith Lee back tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knew he was coming back. We talked about this on the post show last night with Roy Nemmer.
Yes.
We knew Goldberg was coming back. Karrion Kross debuted.
Well, we'll talk about that.
I cannot. They're still pushing Jackson Riker.
What's happening?
We're still doing that. And they're still promoting tons and tons of rematches. So it looks like we're going to have a hot couple weeks here.
Yes.
We're going to have a hot couple weeks because we're heading into SummerSlam. They want to make a good impression. The crowds are going to be very forgiving. They were extremely forgiving tonight of a lot of things. But there's no question that the crowds aren't a fix-all for this product whatsoever, because at the end of the day, the real problem is just the leadership of the company, like the leadership of the creative team, who's calling all the shots for these shows. Old man Vince, kiss ass Bruce Pritchard. Jesus. There were some things on this show tonight that are just wow. Jeff Hardy pinning Karrion Kross, the NXT champion.
Well, okay, before we get into
I don't want to get into that. I want to talk about the good stuff.
Yes,
because there was a lot of good. There's a lot of stuff I really liked on the show.
I actually wanted to ask you before. Well, I want to say hello to everybody too, but I wanted to ask you, do we want to start off with the Kross thing? Because your reaction when it happened, I literally thought a murder was taking place. And we'll preface why in a little bit of why I said that. Because when it happened, I was like, oh gosh, what happened? Because I was changing the baby. But anywho, let's say hello to everybody first.
Yeah, let's say hello to everybody first. We got our dear friend Nafis Sadat in the chat room tonight. We have Daniel Shelby, we have Michoon Walls, we got Uncle Billy, we got Randy Turcola. I have, let's scroll up a little bit.
Hi, CJ.
CJ's there. King of Cueco Mundo is there. Let's see. I thought I saw Quentin in here too.
Quentin is here, yes.
Okay, good. Quentin's got to be here.
Quentin has to be here. He's like
I can't really do the show without Quentin. We got Uncle Billy here as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd rather just talk about the good stuff.
Okay.
Trevor Mishke is here. Brian is here. Evening to you.
Hello. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about the good stuff first.
That's fine.
And none better than Mr. V.
Mr.
In the chat room tonight. All right. None better than an appearance by John Cena. And It's like I talked a little bit about like why, like, I'm excited about John Cena coming back, but not Bill Goldberg, even though Cena's technically a part-timer now. And well, really, he's like a no-timer. He's here. He's going to be here for a few weeks, and he'll be gone again, back to Hollywood. But like, John Cena is bringing passion. He's bringing excitement, and he's going to give Roman Reigns a hell of a match at SummerSlam.
Yes,
there's no question about it. John Cena is going to be incredible.
Yes.
He appeared last night on Money in the Bank, at the end of Money in the Bank, which was a great surprise. Appeared tonight on Raw. He's going to appear on SmackDown this Friday to confront Roman Reigns. I'm sure he's going to make appearances throughout the rest of July and August heading into SummerSlam. And it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to those promos with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and John Cena. I think there's going to be tons of fun. I think it's going to be really, really great. We got Goose here. We got Goosey here as well. You contrast that with Bill Goldberg, who every single podcast or radio show that he ever does is always like, I think I have like a couple of more matches on my contract, and I only have to make like 2 more appearances this year or whatever. It's like I mean, yes, that's the contract that he wanted, that they agreed to. So, you can't really fault Goldberg. He got what he wanted, but there's no passion there. It's like, that's why it's like, and doubly with Goldberg's return too, which kind of there are things that irked me. But just the fact that, again, like, we haven't seen Keith Lee in 7 months, and they have Goldberg come out and essentially just like kill I mean, they killed him with his return anyway, but then Goldberg comes out and kills the rest of it.
I don't know if you
but there's no passion for Goldberg, but John Cena is like chock full of passion.
Of course, really absolutely,
this company. Well, I talked about that story when we were in SmackDown in Newark in 2012, where John Cena flew across the country to come do a dark match. Was it with Jack Swagger? It was a steel cage match, right?
It had to have been because and the reason why I say that is because that's when Lillian Garcia made that mistake about Zack Ryder. Yes, she made that thing about, and then she goes Jack Swagger, and it was Zack Ryder, and then but then he was having his match with Jack Swagger, and he goes, actually Jack Swagger, not Zack Ryder. It was that whole bit. Yeah. No, listen, he's just okay. So Daniel wrote before. I don't know if I can't get it up here because that you have the controls, right? But he wrote before Daniel about Cena loves the business, Goldberg doesn't really. It's 2 different things, and that's true. It's he just like exceeds all this passion and is just so exudes all this passion. He is just one of those. He's a star. You look at him and you're like, wow. You can't help but with him. And that's been like that for a long time with his career. You boo him, you cheer him. He's getting a reaction. So that star quality is just, and don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people when Goldberg first came back, even though knowing what it was going to be like part-time and whatnot, right? A few matches here and there and everything, which is fine. But I think that, someone like Cena who, back in like, I want to say like 2011, 2010 maybe, or even like 2013, 2014, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, like, why is he always on and why is he whatever? But then those are the same people that really genuinely missed him when he wasn't involved in, main event storylines and matches and things like that, because he just has it. Whatever it is, it's John Cena. Everybody knows who John Cena is. Everybody. You can ask your grandmother, you can ask so-and-so. They'll say, oh yeah, I know, I've heard of John Cena. Again, if they don't watch WWE, they know who he is. Yeah. So it's just a totally he gives 110% every time he comes in. It was like he didn't skip a beat. Right. When he came back last night, it was like, oh my gosh,
and then when he came out tonight.
Oh yeah.
Just he seemed like fired up to be there. Yes. Of course. I mean, like, it's our second or our third night really with crowds. And he just seemed really pumped up to be there to cut his first promo on Raw, where, a good majority of his career was spent and some of his best moments in his career were made on Monday Night Raw. It's been a long
Mhm.
time
Mhm.
since SmackDown moved to Fox, and now NBC and Fox are battling like sister wives, you know, for like WWE's love and attention. Like the show has really felt like a 3-hour slog, a 3-hour low level WWE show. It's not a priority. You don't feel like it's a priority. They don't advertise stuff before the show happens. Usually the show feels chaotic when you watch it. It feels like there's not a complete script as they're going. And you know, all throughout this pandemic, yes, the one thing that WWE did was they got innovative with the cinematic matches, and then those jumped the shark big time.
Well, yeah, of course.
The structure of the show has not gone under any discernible changes. It's like, you know, match angle and then cut to lifeless backstage announcer who's like, wow, that's amazing. Now let me ask you this question. And it's been like you're watching the same show
over and over
with different people, with different rotating people that are almost inherently the same.
Yes.
Like that hasn't changed. There's nothing fresh about this show. That's a bummer. You know, like there's really not, I mean, it's wrestling. I mean, like, but at this point, everything's been done. So like, you know, we were saying last night that the reason why Kevin Owens got over so well in the match is because, yes, every single move that you could possibly conceive of, almost every single one of them has been done before. And the rest are too dangerous to try, but somebody will eventually attempt them.
Right.
He was killing himself in that match, taking bumps that nobody was conceiving of, you know, and that's the only way to get over now because everything else has been done. You know, the days of getting over on your character and being really interesting are over. You know, and that's why it's like, you know, it's great to have John Cena back, but it's almost like when they would bring back like an older guy, you know, in Cena's era, you know, where it's like, you know, you don't want to be reminded of things that were good, you know, like John Cena cut a promo from the heart. It was great. It made me feel excited to be watching Raw because the point of what I was just trying to say was that it's been a long time since Raw has felt exciting or important or like destination television that you got to watch. And if you don't watch it, you're missing out on something.
Must be Monday, must see. Yeah, absolutely.
Like the Must Be Monday thing would work if John Cena was playing promos like that every week.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, we don't have John Cena anymore.
No, we don't.
And, you know, like I think back to that Roman Reigns promo that he had with him in 2018, where he's like, I'm here because you failed at your job and this and that. And, you know, in a lot of ways, that's true, you know, like not for Roman Reigns, but for really, you could take Roman Reigns out of it. He's really talking about WWE as a whole. They haven't built any humongous stars like a John Cena, like Dwayne Johnson, like a Steve Austin,
right?
You know, in that time, and Cena hung around for a long time. Now, that's not really fair to say Dwayne Johnson and Steve Austin were in the same era. There was, I mean, Randy Orton's big, but I mean, in terms of John Cena, he's not really he's not on John Cena's level, but he lives well because of that era. Batista didn't have the staying power of John Cena. He got out, you know, his body gave up on him a little earlier. He couldn't do the full-time schedule anymore, but he's a big star too. And they coincide a little bit, but Cena was waiting for them to build that big star, you know, so he could, you know, put his all in Hollywood. And it got to a point where he couldn't wait any longer. And we were left with what we were left with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
he did try. He really did. He actively said, without saying it, that's what he was doing. You know, he really was just genuinely waiting. And, you know, I know what you mean, what you just said before about like, it's kind of like a little bit of a tease, you know, I've said this, I said this last week, and well, not last week or a couple of weeks ago now. I said they're going to pull out the big guns for these first couple shows, you know, these live shows. They might even get the little bit of that longevity up until SummerSlam because they really want to get people excited. And, you know, they're going to hot shot things. They're going to bring back people who are part-timers and things like that and everything else. But I'm going to take what I can get at this point. I know that this isn't forever. I know I'm not going to get this excited feeling for like after SummerSlam and things like that, but I am genuinely going to take what I can get at this point and just enjoy the moment, enjoy what's in front of me. And yeah, does it suck that like someone like Cena is not back full time and, you know, he's just in it for everything and whatnot. But here's the thing, you know, that's okay right now. You know, like I think for right now, it's what everybody kind of needed. And they don't get me wrong, they have to do a major reset on things. Absolutely, 100%. It's needed, it's necessary. The amount of stars that are from John Cena till now are very slim, you know, in their own right and everything. But I'm okay with for right now enjoying the moment. I really am. Yeah. Because I enjoyed the pay-per-view last night. Most of Raw I enjoyed, you know. Again, there were some things on there that I was like, oh gosh, what's going on? So Raw, like, but enjoy it for now. Like, you know, and enjoy it for now while it's here.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're going to be hot-shotting a million things, and some of them are going to be good, and some of them were like, oh, God. Yeah, so, like, yeah, that's exciting. That's not good for long-term booking.
No,
I mean,
not
like,
100%. I agree with you.
They're band-aids on gaping wounds.
Absolutely.
But, you know, for the next few weeks, like I said, it's going to be fun. And it was great. Again, it was just really great to see John Cena tonight. And he created a really nice moment with Riddle, which could go a long way to really help Riddle and establish him as more than just like a guy on the roster.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, like, yeah, he had the thing going on Randy Orton. No one knows where the hell Randy Orton is now. That kind of sucks. You know, like that RK Bro thing was going great.
Oh, it was.
And
absolutely.
I just like, no one knows what happened to Randy Orton. No one knows. It's so frustrating.
There haven't been any reports of anything, like any speculation.
I haven't seen a one.
That's
Maybe he's
weird.
injured. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what Orton is doing.
That's interesting.
I don't know why he's on break, but like
doing why? Right.
Like, right
Did he
now?
make it? Did he
why
whatever?
Right
yeah.
now?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I get it.
But you know, Riddle right now has to stand on his own. And having him and John Cena just go back and forth, just saying "bro," and he gets it, and like
I loved
that.
It was
a great moment.
It was great,
really
great interaction, moment. Really nice interaction.
That was some really good stuff. I mean, that was a hell of a way to kick off the show, and that led to Riddle teaming with the Viking Raiders.
Yes,
AJ Styles and Omos and John Morrison. This was a okay 6-man tag. I'm not like I actually enjoyed it.
I really did enjoy it. And The Miz was spot on.
The Miz was funny.
He was amazing.
Like, him overacting in front of nobody is cringy, but like overacting in this instance with Omos coming at him because Riddle sprayed the dripstick on Omos and thought it was Miz.
Yes.
Was so funny. I mean, I was actually laughing and I was like, wow, this is going to be a really great show.
Yeah.
It started to spiral shortly after this. But I mean, that 6-man tag was just a ton of fun. You know, they really did a lot of fun, just some good stuff there.
To the point you made just before about with the Miz and how you said like, yes, without a crowd doing in a Thunderdome, it is cringeworthy, right? But what I am looking forward to is that kind of like those comedic relief moments, those comedic just moments in general with the crowd now, like, because I did miss that. You couldn't do a whole bunch of that.
Laughter.
You know, you couldn't do a whole bunch of that. You know, are they corny sometimes and goofy and everything? 100%. But I'm a cornball, so I appreciate a good like corny type thing. But again, in front of a crowd where you're getting a real laugh, a real reaction, because it makes the individual who's actually doing it too. It enhances what they're doing because they're feeding off of it. It's amazing to see just the shift in certain things with certain individuals, not all individuals. You know, there's certain individuals that are definitely still dull and they will continue to be dull, but it's amazing to see the little interactions now that take place and feeding off of that. You could tell that they were excited, everybody, to have the fans back, you know, as much as I'm sure, you know, whenever we have like a Brooklyn show, there's always superstars who complain about the crowd and say, oh, you guys suck, you know, whatever. There's always a superstar who said something. But now I think it's flipped the switch where they appreciate any sort of interaction at this point. So
yeah, they'll be very, very happy to just see living people again. Yeah, this 6-man tag, a lot of funny stuff in that.
yes.
Key to note, though, they would not let Omos do almost anything in this match.
No, you're right.
He got overexposed last week in his singles match against Eric. He got. I thought he was really. I thought he looked awful in the match last night against the Viking Raiders, and they were like, big giant guy shouldn't be that difficult,
Right?
Apparently, it is. They would not tag the guy in. I mean, it logically, like if you're just like a casual watching, it's like, what? I mean, if I was on that team, I would have the giant guy in the entire time.
You're
but
right.
it's like John Morrison and AJ Styles are just going back and forth tagging each other, and they will not touch Omos.
That's a good point.
Like, really?
Yeah, you're
this guy's ass kicked, then he guy's ass
like
kicked.
Scream.
Yeah, it's
like the beginning of Scream, which is the first one where Carmen Electra grabs the banana. She got like the knife, the gun.
Movie.
Oh, scary. Yeah, Scary Movie. Where she grabs the banana instead of the knife and the gun to get, you don't pick Omos.
It's like,
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
It's just like, he's not ready for the spotlight, obviously. But,
right.
You're too into it now to get to stop it. So they're going to, kudos to them. Cause usually like, a guy like Ricochet, it's like readily apparent guy can't cut promos. The guy can't cut promos. Let's have him cut a promo. He can't cut promos. Let's give him a script. He can't make the script interesting. He can't cut promos. So they keep doing it. At least they have the wherewithal with Omos to be like, okay, he can't wrestle. He can't perform. And the stuff that he does almost categorically looks awful. So just keep him out there and don't let him do anything. What a novel concept. Oh, Ricochet can't cut a promo? Let's not have him cut promos. That would be a novel concept. But because this show is so formulaic, it's like, cut promo.
Yeah, everyone's got to cut a promo. Everyone's got to do something. Not getting away with being.
Not Omos, though.
No.
He is special. So we got that going for us. Continuing on with this show, they go right to a thing of like Jackson Riker looking into the camera. And
it was creepy.
People actually, there was a mixed reaction for him. They've been pushing him like he's going to be like a star. I think this guy is the most talentless piece of white supremacist crap I've ever seen.
I don't mean to laugh at, but yes, he is. That's why I don't particularly obviously care for him.
He's just, it's so cringy to watch him. Like if you could just throw away like the cringe politics of the guy, he still sucks.
He's still a piece of shit.
It's not like, it's not the politics that, it's not like, the stink that he has. He just a terrible wrestler, and he's not interesting. He looks like a generic creative wrestler, especially when they made him cut his hair. I don't see it. I don't get it. Elias is much more supremely talented. And Elias isn't that good of a wrestler either. But they're going with Jackson Riker, I guess.
Listen, I don't see it either. I know you said in the in actually your recap when you were in your tweet, and I'll just read it here because I have it up. Even though I think Jackson Riker is completely talentless, he and Elias had a good hardcore match. Yes, anyone can have a good hardcore match. It's about how much punishment you could take. This one had fun moments. Elias being busted open made it even better.
Yeah,
I do agree, but I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it for what it was tonight, because you rarely get that kind of good interaction like that, especially between those two.
A good match, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
I'm just
hard.
over it.
It's really, really hard to screw up a hardcore match. It just is.
Done. It's been done.
It's of course it's been done. But I mean, like, you're hitting each other with weapons, and it really depends on how much punishment is the heel willing to take in that match,
Right.
and how much punishment is the face willing to take.
Yes.
And they were willing to take some punishment. You know, they did some fun spots on top of the baby grand piano. There was a cringy spot, you know, and the musician in me was just like, no. When Elias hit Jackson Riker with an upright bass, a double bass, and the commentators and WWE Twitter all said, "Oh, what would Yo-Yo Ma think? Yo-Yo Ma plays cello, man.
Cello, yeah.
Plays cello. Don't diss Yo-Yo Ma. Don't. Just don't. It's an upright bass. It's a double bass. How about that? Bullshit, Yo-Yo Ma. If Yo-Yo Ma checks his Twitter feed tomorrow, he's gonna be like, I don't play up the double bass.
Oh my! Could you imagine? He actually commented on that. He was like very offended.
I was just like, come on now. Come on.
That would be something.
Come on. Do some research. Come on.
They don't, though.
It's a cello. He plays the cello. That was not a cello. Anyway.
He did play the violin, though.
Did he?
In the beginning, yes.
I didn't know that.
He tried it out.
I didn't know that about Yo-Yo Ma.
Yeah.
Oh.
I read a book about him to my students.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I just remember the fact.
So Symphony for Destruction match, Jackson Riker, the talentless one, is over on Elias. Elias was busted open though, so I kind of like that. They did set up a big match for next week with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, booking a really huge match. Mustafa Ali and Mansoor are going to become a tag team. They're going to wrestle next week on Raw. So,
what do you know?
So that's that. All right. So that was like, I guess you could put the Symphony of Destruction match in with like the good stuff of that first hour of Raw. And then it started just like a steady decline from there. You know, like, I mean, Symphony of Destruction match kind of starts the decline a little bit, but it was fun enough where it's like, okay, no, stay up. This championship coronation, you know, like there was one good moment of it when the crowd was chanting Becky. Everybody wanted Becky Lynch to return tonight, but I got news for you. Becky Lynch is too big of a star for what they think of Monday Night Raw, and if anything, she's going to be going back to SmackDown.
Do you think that will happen this week? Do you think she'll come back this week, Friday?
I don't think she'll be coming back till after SummerSlam.
After SummerSlam?
I mean, if I had to, I mean, maybe she faces Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. But you know, with Seth Rollins on SmackDown,
right?
They just moved Naomi back to SmackDown so she could be with Jimmy Uso, and hopefully,
poor Naomi.
Hopefully, she'll drive. I mean, come on, we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but Jesus Christ. Jimmy Uso. You know,
I gotta say, I'm a little bit. I mean, Naomi's a very loyal individual. You can tell she's a very she definitely like values her family and everything. But I would not be surprised if she's like, listen, if you don't get yourself into some sort of like rehab or whatever, we're done.
How's he getting into rehab? He's a tag team champion now.
I know, but I'm saying personally, like, you know, I mean, listen, you love who you love, and you stick by your person, and that's okay. But enough is enough. He's got to get his act together.
Well, I think they got to take his license away at this point. The man should not be allowed to drive a car.
No.
You know, it's embarrassing.
I'm not really.
And you know, because nobody, I mean,
they make jokes about it though.
I mean, mainstream media doesn't actually care about wrestling. You know, like every single one of their spots where it's like, oh, CBS Sports was the first to announce that Molly Holly is going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, those are all paid spots. They pay for that play.
Right.
You know, but like, mainstream media doesn't really actually give a shit about wrestling, you know.
No, but still.
You know, like Fox signed big money to get WWE on, you know, like you know, just to be on their Friday nights to tighten up the Friday night lineup. And they had that backstage show where it was like, that's a joke. It's like it's just
that was gone pretty quickly.
There's nobody that really reports wrestling seriously in the mainstream media, so nobody's gonna really give a shit. No, nobody's gonna make a big stink about Jimmy Uso.
Jokes about it. Like
TMZ's not gonna make a big deal about it. Yeah, they make jokes about it.
But it's just sad though. Like, it really is it's heartbreaking because it's just not it's not good. It's not good at all. And you know, I'm very passionate about it, and I just feel like, I don't know, you know, they shouldn't even employ him And I hate to say that, but I think to me, it's like, hello, it's just like, what is this? Like 4th or 5th time now?
I think it's the 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
Sure,
Well,
yeah,
that's one too many, you know?
Well, yeah, one was too many.
One is too many. And, you know, and
he's gotten chance after chance, and he keeps getting rewarded.
Like,
you know, it's kind of like, you know, the same criticism that people had of Impact Wrestling when they were letting Kurt Angle wrestle when he was all pilled up and he was getting arrested for, you know, having tons of pills on him and stuff like that. You know, it's like, you let the guy go. Stop rewarding him. Get him into rehab.
He's got, that's what I'm saying. There's no consequences for him. He's not losing everything. He still has his job. He's still getting a push, and he has his wife. There's no consequence to any of his actions whatsoever. Someone's got to kick this guy into shape and just say, like, hello, if you continue to do this and get yourself into rehab, you're not employed here.
Yeah.
If you don't get into rehab right now and get your act together, you will no longer be an employee.
Right. And now what? Naomi's going to become like his babysitter instead of his wife. Like what are they going to do? Jay obviously can't, you know, fix the situation.
No.
You know, and it's insane. But
I mean, I know they have a lot of.
Now Naomi is on SmackDown now because they're back on the road. It does, you know, like when they're in the Thunderdome, it doesn't really matter. You know, you can go home and see each other every night.
Exactly.
But now different schedules. They want to keep the married couples together. I bet you Becky Lynch also goes to SmackDown. But you know, and there's also talks that when the draft comes, that Drew McIntyre is going to go to SmackDown. What big stars are going to be coming over to Raw? That's the big question.
Unless Roman comes.
We released all of a couple stars already. So there you go. Roman's not coming to Raw. Come on now. If Roman comes to Raw, remember that clip and make sure that I have to listen to it again. Anyway, so Charlotte just comes out, brags about herself. Rhea Ripley comes out and says that, you know, oh, you think you can beat me any day of the week? Well, why not tonight? So they make a match. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville come out. They make the match for tonight. Then they show footage of Nikki Ash winning the Women's Money in the Bank to foreshadow possible cash-in. And here's where the show starts to go off the tracks a little bit. Natalya and Tamina, of course, they would be involved in it.
Like, why?
Versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Actually, you know what? Nothing truly wrong with the match.
No.
But, you know, I mean, it was filler. It was filler. But, like, they had such a boner for, like, this new thing that they've coined. This new match type that they've coined to, you know, to try to explain away shit booking. You know, so, you know, when you put everybody in a non-title match with the champion, if they win this non-title match, they'll be going to the front of the line. Well, I fucking hope so. They just pin the champion. They should be the champion. What other fucking sport on earth that has championships, you know, that you don't have to have a tournament for, like, you know, boxing, MMA, like who has to first beat the champion before getting a championship match? Usually it happens when you accumulate a whole bunch of wins, and like I don't understand this, but because they have such a thin roster, now we have to have championship contender matches. Well, in almost every championship contender match tonight, they have you know, the champions won. So are the champions the number one contenders for their titles then? Like what does this even mean? What does this mean? Like, it's just it's so annoying. Like they really doubled down. We had 3 fucking matches. Championship contender match. What does that mean? What
does that mean?
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
It just bothers me. And on top of that, like, you know, the champions won. So it's like, you know, now we have one less tag team on this show now. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are no more. So,
well, is that really that disappointing?
No, not at all. Not at all. Eva Marie and Dewdrop are tied up with Lex Bliss. There's literally no tag team. There's no women's tag teams on Raw.
You know,
none.
If anything's gonna, this is the only thing I will say. I'm a very positive. I'm not gonna say the most positive person, but in the beginning of this show tonight, I did say I'm gonna take everything for what it is, and I'm gonna be positive. And here's the thing: I think even with the crowds, this women's division is still in the shit.
Yeah,
it's
bad.
It's not going to get any better.
And if you didn't think so, I was going to actually have you examined for brain trauma, because that would just be.
But you know
outrageous.
what I mean? Like, it's not. That's the one part of the show that they can't seem to get it together. You know, like, even if you have everything that sucks, but there's like that one thing That one thing that was really, really good, it usually does not involve women. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like 99% of the time, it's not involving the females.
Right.
It's just not.
Right. And
it's
we've
terrible.
seen Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley face each other
over and over.
Oh my God. It's just so many times.
And here's the thing.
Nobody else.
And here's the thing, right?
Now we have Nikki Ass as the champion.
Yes.
So that's good.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm just looking at Rhea Ripley since she debuted.
Okay. She had like 2 wins.
So if she hasn't been facing Asuka, let's see. Rhea Ripley defeats Asuka. Rhea Ripley defeats Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Rhea Ripley defeats Asuka, Naomi, and Lana. Rhea Ripley defeats Asuka. Rhea Ripley defeats Asuka. Let's see. So she's not facing Asuka. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like way too many times you're facing Charlotte Flair. It's like that's all they have. Is like this.
They don't have anything.
She did face Natalia last week.
Oh wow, big star right there. But here's the thing though, when you talk about the women, everyone's screaming Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch. That's the same match. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. How many times have we seen that? I mean, granted, yes, the match that they had in the beginning, it's always good. You're always entertained, but there's a huge but in that though. It's the same shit. Yeah, and if they have that match and it's like, then who else are they going to face? There's nobody. There's no one.
Yep.
There's no one. They get rid of everybody. And I'm not saying like we said, oh my God, see, this is how bad it is. Who was the one from the Iconics that was released? Were they both released?
Kane, yeah.
Okay. They're both released, right? Okay.
Peyton Royce.
They're both released. Who else, whatever. There's nobody. You're releasing, it doesn't matter. Whoever at that point, that's not what you should be doing. You should be investing time into characters. But then again, they're not doing it for the male superstars either. So why would they do it for the women? They just they're like, oh, we have to have a mandatory bathroom break. And here we are.
Right.
For the crowds. The crowds will be back and we'll have the women as the bathroom break. Really, that's essentially what they're doing, though. That's the message that is always being... that's out there.
Right.
And tell me if I'm wrong, because if I'm not, I know I'm not. So don't tell me I'm wrong.
You're not.
Okay, everyone, don't come at me.
Right. Yeah. Natalia and Tamina, they go over on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I did like Nia Jax's hair, and it's her natural hair.
Looked good. Oh yeah. She listen.
Looked good. Then she turned on Reginald after the match. And then Reginald immediately, Akira Tozawa and the Goofs run down. And Reginald hit some pretty fun little moves on Tozawa and became the 24/7 champion. So it was a good moment.
I'm all about...
After a few weeks of seeing Reginald flip around, it'll get old, I'm sure.
These ladies look fierce. They look the part. They're not acting the part. That's the thing. There's nothing behind the looks at this point. They look fabulous.
Well, most of them.
Most of them. And Natalia's too smiley.
And how about Tamina? I mean, like, you really think Tamina's been around? I think Tamina's been in the company for at least 11 or 12 years. 11 or 12 years. And she's never looked good or comfortable in the ring once. Like, every match is just like, how are you a professional wrestler? There's like, how is your father Jimmy Snuka?
Not everything's genetic. Not everything comes down to
Jimmy Snuka. Man, he was smooth in the ring and smooth at evading murder charges too. Like, like she has, like,
dear Lord,
she got none of that. I hope the murder thing too. But
I mean, yes,
I hope she doesn't murder anybody.
No,
Jimmy Snuka definitely murdered somebody. Like, but he's still in their Hall of Fame. Whatever.
Well, let's not go there. But yeah, I mean, listen, well, think about how many women have been in the roster and they never became a legend and they never actually amounted to anything. Alicia Fox, what did she do? She had a segment with the Bella. She did that crazy thing for a little while, and then she teamed up with the Bella Twins, and she just disappeared. What did she really do? Did she ever really evolve into anything substantial or a good wrestler?
No. Never.
Well,
not once.
I mean, yes, you're right. With Tamina, it should be a little bit different because she's got that, in her blood, but not everything's genetic.
Yeah, I know. And Randy Ricola with a great comment here. Speaking of things that aren't genetic, apparently D.H. Smith is on his way back. Yeah, Davey Davey Boy Smith's son. He was not good when he was in the company. Now he's back. Let's see. Yeah, so that was okay. I just don't understand it to me anything. I don't get it at all.
No.
Then we had Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo again.
I loved your tweet. I'm not gonna lie, that was hysterical.
What did I say?
You said, "Okay, are we finally done with Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo? Please." Oh wait, Damian Priest is in the next line. Keep fighting with Carrillo.
Yeah, it's like, man, Sheamus hasn't done anything since WrestleMania, since beating Riddle in a really good match at WrestleMania.
I feel like such a jerk because do you remember before WrestleMania when it was up in the air if it was going to be like Drew versus Lashley or if it was going to be like
Sheamus,
or if it was going to be like a triple threat.
Like yeah, I remember.
And now here's Sheamus. It's terrible, and he's amazing. I love him.
Play out. He's gonna be great.
I love him.
Actually, I mean, it's like they had a really cool graphic for him. It was like Fight Night with his logo, with his like face in the background, and it was a really cool logo. But it's like Fight Night. He's been facing two dickheads the entire United States title run so far: Humberto Carrillo and Ricochet.
Yeah,
it'd be like great if he was like actually like fighting people that you'd want to see him fight.
Right.
There's been nothing of consequence so far. He's like all that steam that he had has been lost. And yeah, busting his nose didn't really help, but it's like, I don't like enough with Humberto Carrillo. Come on. Like
you're doing a lot of that like whisper thing tonight.
Well, how many times are we going to see it? We've seen it. They faced 5 times. And Sheamus spent a month out of action. 5 times.
Listen.
And Sheamus didn't have a match. After WrestleMania, he didn't have a match for the rest of April.
No.
So he started facing Humberto Carrillo in May, and it's July. We're midway through July. Sheamus took a month off. They've still faced each other 5 times. That's almost every show.
Daniel Schell said the same thing I did. Remember we wanted Sheamus versus Drew? LOL. Yes, I do remember that.
I do,
and that is why I
do.
feel like such a jerk, because I really was like expecting a triple threat. I was expecting Sheamus to possibly be in the main event and whatever. And no.
But look what they did with Drew in the interim as well. Look what they did with him.
Oh, that is such a sin.
So let me just get to that part real quick.
Okay.
Because we're talking about Sheamus.
Okay.
Let's take a look at what happened to Drew
we'll skip
McIntyre. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. We got Jinder Mahal in the ring. He says his birthday, and he has Shanky sing happy birthday, and then Drew McIntyre comes out and destroys Shanky with the chair, just absolutely annihilates him, hits Mahal with the chair, hits Veer with the chair, and then Shanky just takes all this abuse with the chair. It was awesome. The crowd was loving every bit of that. But and I said, if they can stop with the Drew McIntyre storytime garbage and just do more of what they did, and again, last night at Money in the Bank, even Drew poked fun at the storytime thing and kind of signaling that that's over.
Yeah.
But it's
goodness.
It's like they booked him since the Sheamus feud. He lost, at Elimination Chamber. And since then, they've booked Drew McIntyre like a whiny little bitch that tells these weird fairy tales. And
like, are you okay?
And now, and now, yes, tonight was an awesome angle with him destroying Shanky with the chair.
Of course.
But it was an angle that screamed, "We're rehabbing this guy." Can you imagine? It's unreal that they have mishandled Drew McIntyre so badly in the last few months that Drew McIntyre actually needs to be rehabbed. Isn't that's insane to me?
Well, it was funny yesterday when we were talking when Vin was over. So
why does Drew McIntyre need to be rehabbed?
Absolutely. I totally agree, because when Vin was over, my brother yesterday, we were talking about how he's like, I haven't really watched Raw or anything, he's like, I haven't really watched SmackDown.
I know, and that's big because Vin was a diehard viewer
like
for years.
Loyal, religious fan, watched every single week, both shows, but he's opened up a new business and everything, and it's just taking a lot of his time. So he's like, I'm not going to watch the show when I get home. Like, I'm going to go to sleep. So he's like, oh, what's going on with Drew McIntyre? I'm like, you don't even want to know. It's not the same Drew McIntyre that was red hot, that everybody was like gung-ho about, and everybody was, cheering, rooting him on. You didn't know like what was going to happen. Like, it's not that same person. Like, if you saw the show, you'd be like flabbergasted on where he was and then where he is now. And again, you should not have to be in a position where you are doing this like reset on him. There's just no way. It's just weird to me. And what makes me so sick, and I know you couldn't drag it out for so long, and I'm very happy that Bobby Lashley won the championship at the time. I am. I you know, good for him, right? Like, if Drew won too, I would have been just as happy about it. But the only thing I just feel bad for him though, because he never, when he was red hot, he never got his moment in front of a crowd. Nope. Really? Like WrestleMania, to me, doesn't really count because it was like a one and done type thing.
And he didn't get a moment.
He didn't really get a moment, and he didn't get that opportunity. And you know what? No one really knew what was going to happen with the vaccines and the virus and whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, did we truly know that there was going to be a SummerSlam show? Not particularly. So it's like, I just feel bad for the guy. And now it's like he's going to have to build up again if he's going to ever get that moment.
Right.
Where he was that right. Red hot moment.
Right. I mean, if they do more, and by the way, Randy, I do feel very bad for Drew. He's totally right. He carried the company
exactly,
the entire time
Randy.
Throughout the pandemic. They had no fans. He was not a good champion. He was a great champion. A great baby face.
It's terrible.
Perfect baby face champion. And he was having great matches against anybody and everybody. And now
look where he is.
And then they put a kilt on him and turn him into the storyteller.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's weird. It's but only WWE. They are notorious for, you know.
We got to tinker a little bit. It's not working. Not working. What are you talking
about? Working. It's red hot.
But if they do more, if they do a few more angles like that and cut the story time crap, the rehab won't take that long. I predict that it won't take much to get Drew McIntyre hot
I hope
again.
You're right.
Some people are thinking that that it's so bad he'll have to turn heel in order to get back over.
I don't necessarily know if we need to go that route.
No, but that's what some people are saying, and I could see the argument. I personally don't think it's that bad. You know, even last night when he got a mixed reaction from the crowd, he was still able to kind of turn them like John Cena could turn them. You know, so like there's hope for Drew McIntyre still.
I have a question for you. And I may have asked this already, and you obviously know. Did Paul Heyman have a lot to do with Drew McIntyre?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yes and no. He obviously was there when they were building Drew up for the championship. You know, Paul got removed last June. So he was there for it was his idea to have Brock in the Royal Rumble and destroy everybody and then have Drew McIntyre come out and eliminate him with a Claymore kick. Okay. That was smart stuff. They even had Ricochet low blow him to set up a match at Super Showdown that saw Brock Lesnar kill him. But that was Paul Heyman's line of thinking. It's like, like we could, he was thinking ahead. He was like, actually having long-term plans. And every angle that he did, there was a long-term plan there. Some of the stuff I really hated. Like that Maria Kanellis, Mike Kanellis stuff was miserable. The Lana Lashley stuff was miserable. Right. But there was like the wrestling stuff, the stuff that wasn't, sports entertainment, but was wrestling. He did really, really well. Mm-hmm. And Drew McIntyre was the recipient of that. Okay. And when Paul got the book taken away from him, Drew was able to live off of that good booking from Paul Heyman
that
for
foundation.
Quite some time.
Gotcha.
He had and until Vince couldn't take it anymore. He's like, we got to change him. We got to have Sheamus put a kilt on him, and we're gonna do this and that.
Amazing.
All right, he's got a kilt, he's got a sword. Now he looks more like a Scotsman. They turned him into Mr. Sports Entertainment. And is she up?
No, I'm just upset for him.
And I mean. It didn't take long for Vince and Bruce to try to put their own stamp onto it. It's
it's over.
I mean, this is totally right. Randy's totally right. Vince can't keep his fingers out of anything that's working.
So true. Randy, you're killing it.
Let's talk about. He is killing it.
You're all killing it. Not gonna lie, but
let's talk about this. Bobby Lashley has an open challenge, and the graphic makes it look like it's an open challenge for the WWE Championship. The announcer was saying it's for the WWE Championship. Keith Lee comes out. He makes his return. We haven't seen him since January. Did not get the pop that I think everybody was thinking he would get when he came out. Probably because his new music still sucks so badly that it took a few people a few seconds to realize who it was.
Yeah, who it was. Yeah.
So they bring back Keith Lee, And then Corey Graves shouts, "It's for the WWE Championship next." And then we come back, "It's a championship contenders match. And if Keith Lee wins, he'll probably go to the front of the line." Probably? He better fucking go to the front of the line if he beats the WWE champion. But this just, oh my God, it made my skin crawl with how bad this was. Like, there was nothing wrong with the match. And they let, after a night after Bobby Lashley annihilated Kofi Kingston, Kofi got no offense in. He takes a few bumps for Keith Lee, but it was never close at any point, and Keith Lee just got beat. That was it. That's how they returned Keith Lee, who's been gone for about 6 months. He's been gone for about half a year. They, oh my God, yeah, like totally. I'm the same way. When the music hit and it went green, I was like, whose music is that? I honest to God thought they were sending out Shane Helms. I'm not even kidding, because I saw the green. I was like, what is this music? I go, is this the Hurricane? I thought it was the Hurricane. I honestly thought they were going to send Shane Helms out there and was like, all right, we're going to get a squash match and Goldberg's going to come out. No, they sent Keith Lee out there, who we haven't seen in a long time, who could be a giant star for them if they knew how to book stars anymore. And they have Bobby Lashley beat him like he's nothing. And then Goldberg comes out to step on his throat and make you completely forget about Keith Lee's return.
Oh my gosh.
There was nothing redeeming about
Keith Lee's
there really
return.
wasn't. There was nothing.
There wasn't.
Like, what was Shelton Benjamin busy tonight? Was Cedric Alexander busy tonight? Like, oh, we've done that match too many times. Yeah. We also did Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo too many times, but you're fucking still give it to us.
Yeah, exactly.
We just did AJ Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders last night. And they beat them, and now they're getting another match.
And also,
week.
too, again, when another guy hasn't been and has been around for 6 months, it's not technically overdoing it. Right. So they could have easily put him with somebody else.
By the way, Keith Lee was also around the last time Goldberg was around too. So these are both guys making their 6 month returns. Lee. But I mean, like, by the end of that segment, you didn't even remember that Keith Lee was there. Gosh, so another tremendous day, bring back from WWE.
Great job.
They're going to rehab this guy great.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes. I could not believe my eyes.
I know you couldn't.
Keith Lee, we just got to be resigned to the fact that he's just going to be, Vince just looks at him as like a fat dude that does some flips, and that's the end of that. And that's all he'll ever be. That's all he'll ever be in Vince's eyes, is the fat guy that does flips.
Mission Wall's Goldberg.
It's not Goldberg's fault that they brought him out like that. And again, the crowd was excited to see Goldberg. And I hope that continues on the whole way. I hope that, when he gets, I hope that when he gets to SummerSlam, people don't boo him and stuff like that.
I don't think they will. I
hope the Goldberg thing works out. But again, it's like Goldberg comes back. What's next after Lashley beats Goldberg? What's next? Because Goldberg has no more matches.
Everything all right?
Yeah, it's fine. It was a fucking stupid app.
Oh, okay.
Goldberg has no more. It doesn't have any more matches left.
Yeah.
So if he wins the title, then we don't see the title again until maybe Royal Rumble. It's like, and then we're going into the fall with no title and crowds. So like, we can't get anything lined up here. So like, what's next? Who's the big star that's going to go after Lashley after this? He's beaten everybody.
Ricochet.
Speaking of somebody who's beaten everybody and is the champion, Karrion Kross made his Raw debut tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna tell everybody why the murder happened.
Well, let me just explain. Let me just go through the match here.
No,
he's the NXT champion, right? He's the NXT champion, right? So, so like, is this a championship contenders match since he's facing Jeff Hardy? Like, they didn't call it a championship contenders match. They didn't do any of that stuff. So, Jeff Hardy faces Karrion Kross, and it's like, okay, well, Karrion Kross is going to get an easy victory here. And of course, Jeff Hardy pins Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, by the way, has defeated literally the entire main event scene, including Finn Balor on NXT. And he gets, go on, Victoria.
So I actually did not watch the match or this segment because I was changing Liliana, and sometimes I have to watch things intermittently. But I'm changing our daughter, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh my God!" and like screaming, and I'm like, what the hell happened? I really thought somebody got murdered. I thought there was a bug. I didn't know what the hell was going on. He goes, Karrion Kross was pinned. I'm like, really? I mean, I get, like, listen, I get the anger and I get the frustration, but you did not have to scare me where I literally thought we were getting like robbed, murdered, and all that crap with the bugs.
I
really, you were, I mean, he was like, I mean, you had to hear the scream. I was like, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's just, it's just so, I mean, like, you know, like, and this, and, you know, like there was no WWE apologist, even like Jimmy Bracken tried his hardest. He couldn't do it. Like there's no way to defend this. There's no way.
I agree with you. I just didn't
There's
want
no way
the
to defend this shit. I mean, like, you know, he's the NXT champion. He's beaten the entire main event scene on NXT, including Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Finn Balor, Bronson Reed. They've all Johnny Gargano. They've all fallen to Karrion Kross, and they have Jeff Hardy cheat to beat him. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know, Jeff Hardy made the biggest mistake of his life because everybody will fall and pray." It's like, oh, good. We're having the NXT champion come out to feud with Jeff Hardy. And the one good thing about Jeff Hardy in the last year is that he just changed his music tonight.
And you know what?
Highlight.
And you know what, too? The real unfortunate part about all this, you know, we were talking about, again, my brother was over last night, so we were talking about Karrion Kross. And we said, how long do you think it will take before they ruin him, right?
Oh,
and then it was
right here.
Oh my God! It didn't even take a night.
It was done in a minute. The match was a minute long.
Exactly.
And he's done already.
It's amazing.
He's done.
Not a good start.
There's no. It's horrible. I mean, it's just horrible. And for all those WWE apologists, like, oh, let it play out, Mike. Let it play out. You know,
half
like,
the time people say that,
it's like
you always wind up winning.
Is the NXT championship like
nothing?
Maybe the equivalent of the European championship?
Nothing.
Surely it must be higher ranked than the 24/7 title.
You would hope.
I hope. But I mean, you know, the only thing that could save this is like they move Jeff Hardy to NXT and he starts a feud with Karrion Kross there, because NXT needs all the help they can get now with their ratings. Because if you're watching this show and you're like, why would I ever want to watch NXT when this guy, this dickhead loses? He's their champion. This dickhead lost in a minute and a half to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And Jeff Hardy cheated in the match too.
Yep.
This is just asinine. I mean, it's so like typical WWE in 2020, in 2021. Like this is not how you build stars. It just is not.
No, it's not. It didn't even take a night though. It didn't even take a night for them to do this.
He's dead.
It's
dead.
Terrible.
And if he gets into a long feud with Jeff Hardy where they're just going back and forth trading wins on Raw, fuck that. Unbelievable. So they bring back Keith Lee, who could be a major star, and they bring Karrion Kross, who, by the way, Nikki Ash. The whole reason that her name is now Nikki Ash is because they didn't want to have two crosses on the roster. So we got Karrion Kross, who caused Nikki Cross to have her name changed. And they both lose. Zelina Vega comes back. Now, Zelina Vega is not a big time star, but she comes back. She lost her first match back too. She hasn't won a single match.
It's incredible.
And then we wonder, and then we sit here and talk at the beginning of the show. Oh, John Cena, you know, like they haven't built stars since. This is why. And all these dickheads are like, "Oh, Mike, you mad, son? Oh, you how can this dude be mad still? Fuck you." This is why. Because this is stupid. If this was a regular TV show, if you take the wrestling out of it, it'd be a really bad TV show. And any TV show that was trying to introduce new characters like that, like,
you know what's funny? I say this all the time whenever you're like, people are like, "Oh, let it play out." Right?
I hate that.
But whenever you say to people like, "Oh, let it play out," you always wind up being right. You do. I'm telling you, like anytime that people said, "Let it play out," and then it's like, you always wind up being right with your thoughts, because it's so predictable. And it's just
I've been
I don't
analyzing this company, and I have to sit here. I have to sit here and read stupid comments from idiots that think that because they tune in every now and then that they know everything about WWE.
Here's the thing.
It's like no. I've been watching almost every single show religiously for like over a decade of my life. I think I know what I'm talking about.
I mean, also too, it's because it's right there. It's obvious, you know. If I were in NXT, I would not want to come up. I really wouldn't. Why would I even dream of it when it's such a dramatic shift between what your experience is there, and you have more creative control and whatever. You have more in your like typical minor league.
I cannot.
But it shouldn't even be considered that now because they're on TV.
Right. I can't wait. I cannot wait for Paul Levesque's next conference call, and then somebody's like, well, what was that thing with Keith Lee? I mean, and Karrion Kross.
Should I ask him?
Oh, nobody lets anything play out. You know, it's like you know, and you know he's just spewing the company lines, but the guy inside must be dead. He must be dead.
I'll give him a call later and see what he says.
He must be dead.
I'll let him know.
You might need to call into the next conference call and ask him a few questions to make sure that he's okay. Because Paul Levesque at this point, if he doesn't want to strangle his father-in-law, like he's got to get his head checked.
I'm sure they all
that work that he's done, and and by the way, they broke up him and Scarlett. No mention of Scarlett. She wasn't even shown in any of the videos. So
So what is going on with that though?
Who knows? Scarlett was one of the best parts of the Karrion Kross act. What, they're gonna have Karrion Kross cut promos?
I'll give Paul a call.
Oh God!
When's the next conference? I'll give him a call.
I don't know. Whenever the next stupid fucking take.
I'll give him a call.
Alexa Bliss brought Lily back, and Eva Marie and Doudrop are going to be feuding with Alexa Bliss. So, and Eva Marie had the worst pratfall in the history of pratfalls.
The worst.
Oh my God! It was like she can't even.
Oh man!
Like there's no. I mean, like she, you know, like she makes Tamina's movements in the ring seem like we're watching, you know, Ric Flair or like Bobo Brazil or somebody who's like really smooth in the ring, Antonino Rocca.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Eva Marie. So our main event here is the Raw Women's Championship: Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Match was meh, and Rhea Ripley won by DQ when Charlotte Flair hit her, and it was like, well, this show just started to suck. And then I actually put out a tweet before this match, and I was half right here. I said, either Becky Lynch returns at the end of this match, or as the wonderful booking decisions of tonight have dictated, Nikki Ash will have a failed cash-in because why not? So I was half right. She did have a cash-in, but she was successful. So we got that going for us here. And it was a great moment. It was a really nice moment. Nikki Ash comes out. She pins Charlotte Flair with a diving crossbody block. She's the Raw Women's Champion. They haven't booked her like, you know, she's, you know, anything dominant or anything like that. She's kind of gotten everything's like a fluky win. You know, she's like the person that emerged with the briefcase last night. She hasn't got any like huge wins. Like when she beat Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, it was by count out, or she lasted, you know, 2 minutes in a match.
Right.
But she's the champion now. I hope that it's not a short reign. I hope they don't hot potato it. I hope she at least gets to SummerSlam with it. And I hope that she even goes to SummerSlam and picks up like an unexpected upset victory. I hope that, you know, like, I hope that this is really good for her, because as much as I think that this gimmick is just goofy and corny as hell, you know, she's putting her all into it. And that same thing can be said for Alexa Bliss. You know, her gimmick is terrible. It's the worst gimmick I've ever seen in professional wrestling. But she's putting her all into it. So I guess there's that. Nikki Ash, you know, Nikki Cross has, you know, she's toiled for a long time.
They try,
and she is a success story. She certainly is a success story. I'm happy that she's the Raw Women's Champion. It's some new blood at the top, a fresh face, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they follow up with that.
They try, you know, it's amazing. Now, I can't say this for all the women, and I get where they're coming from, because if I was just getting these crappy storylines and everything else, I don't know if I would have that motivation either. But you made a very good point. Alexa Bliss tries so hard. Nikki Ash, you could tell, like, just in her personality, that she is a doer. You know what I mean? Yeah. She likes to, and she is. This is corny. Again, I'm a cornball. You know what though? This to me, may work out in her favor because, first of all, she is passionate about it. And again, there is a crowd now. This whole superhero nonsense baloney may not have worked if there was no crowd. It would be very, very silly, right? Really, I mean, it's silly, it's still, but yeah, anything fresh for the women's division, I'm all for.
Yeah.
So good luck to Nikki Ash.
Indeed. And that was Monday Night Raw. So they ended it on a high note after, like, I mean, you know, like this show was like the definition of a roller coaster. It was like started off all right, then we get the big drop, boom, and then we just stayed low for a long time, and then it shot us right back up at the end. So that's good. That's a positive. Now that's hot shot booking. Now there's no more Money in the Bank contracts to be cashed in for right now. So what do we do next week? And what do we do the week after? What do we do the week after that? Not every show can have the return of Goldberg, the return of Keith Lee, the debut of Karrion Kross, the John Cena
coming. Yeah.
Money in the Bank cash-ins. Like,
I think they'll have a good.
So that's where the warts are going to come out.
SummerSlam.
You know, all the issues that they're going to be coming out, and crowds will eventually respond in kind, and we'll see what happens. But in the chat room, everybody, what do you think of this show? Do you give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Let us know in the comments. Let me just share my screen real quick. And please like, share, and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it.
I love Quentin. Please like, share, subscribe.
He's the best.
And check out the audio version on Spotify, Apple Music, and give a comment with 5 stars. Thanks.
He's good. He's really good. He's got it going on. So 72% of the people online say that the July 19th WWE Raw was a thumbs up for them. So good. All right. So let's check out the chats. We got Billy Hefner giving it. Uncle Billy gives it a thumbs up. Ms. Shoon Walls gives it a thumbs up so far. Victoria, what do you give this show?
I do give it a thumbs up. That middle part was whatever, but I'm going to give it a thumbs up because it's nice. There was a lot of good on the show, and I love John Cena. I like how it ended. Good show.
Yep. Daniel Shell, thumbs up. Enjoyed the opening. Bliss, obviously, the Symphony match was good. The Ash is LOL, but live crowds can't fix shit, though. I agree.
Yeah, it won't be the be-all, end-all by any means.
Quentin Walters gives a thumbs up. Goosey says toes up, but he's missing a toe. So like, I don't know if that's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. I didn't even know he was missing a toe. So is that
when we went to Starcast or Starcade or whatever it was, Starcast, Goosey had lost a toe and he was and he was moving around like a gazelle.
That's amazing.
Amazing. If I lost, I'd be like, I'd still be traumatized. Post Raw, always 69 thumbs up from Quentin Walters.
The Daniel Shell, thumbs up for Victoria's mom hair. Is so mom
Goosey
hair.
Nubs up, Michael. Randy gives a thumbs up. All right. I have to give it a thumbs up too.
Sorry, I forgot to ask you.
good beginning, good end. Symphony match was fun. Goldberg's return was good. The stuff that happened before it, it's like if there was a thumbs in the middle option, I would probably give it that, to be honest with you. Because the Karrion Kross thing was just outrageous.
Whoa, no, you're never allowed to even like.
No, I know. I'm saying if there was,
you're never allowed. Even if there is one, you're never allowed to give a thumbs up because you gave me and a couple of our.
I'm saying if there was.
Well, you're not allowed to even say it if there was. Sorry.
Okay.
You lost that privilege.
Okay, fine. Then it's a thumbs up.
Whatever. I'm looking for Yo-Yo Ma to be on next week.
Right. Thumbs down because they don't know anything about music, but it's
gonna have a match.
Like the Nikki Ash thing was a nice feel good moment.
Feel good moment, yes,
and,
for sure.
I just hope that this company eventually gets together, but they made it pretty damn clear that they're not. That it's just not going to happen. So we'll see. We will see. But for now, they hot shot a whole bunch of shit, and it was that's good. So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up here because we're gonna play Hunt a Killer. Right?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Randy.
I know.
Gosh, I see they all get it. You haven't caught up yet.
Michelle. I like that one. That's a good one. All right, everybody. I am Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Thanks so much for joining us. This is back-to-back shows for me with the post show after Money in the Bank last night with Roy Nemmer. I almost said Quentin Walters. We should do a show with Quentin
should do a show with Quentin.
But like Quentin went to be up, like, you know, he's in New Zealand. It's like
that would be a big adjustment. But
so check, if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure you take a look at it. And obviously tonight with Victoria, we'll be back next. No, we won't. No, we're not going to be back next week.
No, I don't think we will, right? Because next
week's our anniversary.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm not watching wrestling on our anniversary. I know better than that.
I want pizza on our anniversary.
What would you say?
I want pizza.
That's it?
Well, no, I mean other stuff too, but
all right. On that note, well, we won't be here next week, and I will not be recapping Raw next week either. So I don't know when we'll be back, actually.
What's the following week?
We'll be probably down the shore.
Are we still down that week?
Although we can do a show down the shore.
I'm saying, are we saying the Monday to the Monday?
We can stay as long as we want. I'm gone forever. Like I already have 2 weeks off from. We'll see.
All right. We'll see, everyone.
We'll figure it out. But we're married. How long? 6 years now.
6 years. Yeah.
6 years. Yeah. Next week, next Monday, July 26th.
Think of us.
So think of us. We will not be watching Raw, and I would not recommend you watch it either. Yeah, Andrew wasn't here tonight. We gotta check on Andrew.
I know.
Check on Andrew.
There's a lot of people who weren't here.
Andrew was commenting though early tonight on Twitter, so I'm not really worried about him.
I could do the podcast not.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll see you soon. In the interim, it is the summer, so things get crazy. I'm Mike Tedesco.
I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you when we see you.
Yes. Bye.